Now, your 41 NBC AccuWeather forecast, presented by Volume Chevrolet.
Well, welcome back. In Dublin, we've got a lot of high clouds overhead. It is also a little breezy out there. It's taking the edge off that heat. It feels like 86, the actual temperature. 87. Nice to see the dew points, though, have come down a good bit from what they were earlier in the week. 23 miles per hour for the wind gusts right now coming from the west. Nothing for us to track on the radar, but we did have rain come through earlier this morning. I'll probably have to switch this to the 24-hour total, starting with the next shows, as it started getting in here between about 4 and 5, and so we will start losing data otherwise. As you can see, our wet spot, Perry got over an inch, Gordon a little less than an inch, Macon and Warner Robins both got about 2/3 of an inch, and things cut off a good bit as you did get further south. A lot of trace amounts in the southern parts of the region. Here is our almanac for today. We've had a high of 88. That's one above the average of 87. 68 earlier this morning, though. That's still 6 above that average of 62. We may actually be below that average tonight with a low of 60 degrees. Wind staying from the northwest. We'll see gusts to about 15, maybe 20 miles per hour as we go through tonight. Definitely not going to be as muggy out there, but we will have some of those high cirrus clouds to stay with us through the overnight hours. Our warmest spots looks like 63 if I were to take a guess down there in Abbeville. It is still covered up by my name. And then we see low 60s for the remainder of the region. I do think that our coldest spots may get down to about 58 or 59 somewhere like, say, Sparta or maybe even Eastman. As we continue to move forward, we're still going to have a pretty warm day tomorrow for our Thursday. Good amount of that sunshine, but we do have this trough that develops off to the north, and that will become a cold front heading into our Friday morning. So we could wake up to a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two early Friday. That should get out of here in the afternoon, and as a result, Friday will be a little bit cooler. Thinking a lot of mid-80s versus the upper 80s and low 90s that we are currently seeing. That cool down will be very short-lived. We're back to the upper 80s on Saturday and back into the lower 90s on Sunday. So as for the wind, it is pretty strong. We're seeing gusts that are 20 to 25 miles per hour through this afternoon, and it will back off some tonight, but 15 to 20 miles per hour could still be fair game heading to the beginning of tomorrow. Doubt we'll get any fog. The humidity down a little bit following the front. Tomorrow, a lot of that sunshine. Temperatures will rise into the mid to upper 80s, so we're going to be a little bit cooler, but maybe not too much cooler tomorrow. I think the bigger drop-off will be on Friday. I want you to also take note of the rain chances making their way in as we approach the sunrise on Friday. This is pretty scattered in nature, but we do still have a few of them leading into the afternoon. This actually seems like a bit of an updated run since what was seen at 4. That also changes the timing of the window for the rain on Friday. With the front coming in, I do anticipate there will be some sort of chances there, but I do want to see a little bit of consistency from the models in terms of timing for that before we really start to be a little more confident in what those rain chances on Friday may end up being. 88 for the high. Tomorrow, that wind will still be a little breezy with gusts over 20 miles per hour, and the warmest spot still should get to around the 90s. I'll have your extended forecast in 10 seconds. Your 41 NBC AccuWeather 7-day forecast is brought to you by Volume Chevrolet. So right now it has a 20% for those rain odds on Friday. If consistency will show in the models, I may bump that up a little bit. Saturday, a couple isolated chances as well. In fact, we'll have isolated chances all throughout Memorial Day weekend. It's not going to be as bad with the rain chances the past weekend, but you do see how the cool down for Friday is very short-lived.